Hey guys and girls, this is Anish from gainmedialab.com. Welcome to my exciting world of live audio mixing. In this video, I bring you a message of hope because I've had my first gig in 6 months. But before we get into all that, make sure that you have subscribed to this channel and turned on all notifications so that you don't miss any of the videos that I'm bringing to you every Monday. With all that said and done, let's just start the show. March 7th was the date when I had my last gig before the pandemic, before the coronavirus hit, before we had to go into lockdown. 2020 was supposed to be a great year. You know, things were lined up to sort of take off. I had gigs booked until the end of the year. Everything was unicorns and roses and rainbows. But then, well, you know, the same process that happened for everybody else in the business happened for me as well. Things got cancelled, things got pushed around, there were no live shows. And for a musician, for a stage crew guy, and for a sound engineer like myself, it hit us really hard. It took away our livelihood. It took away not only our jobs, but it took away our purpose and our joy, because I don't really think that any of us do this just for the money. In fact, when you think about it, the money is not that good. We do it because we love doing it. And that's one thing that probably people don't understand about us. It's, taking the long hours and the bad pay and the mental strains that we have to go through, all of that we take into stride because we just love what we do. We love making events. We love the energy, the live sound. We like tinkering with stuff. It's a passion. And when that passion is taken away from you and you can't do it for an extended period of time, it sort of leaves a mark. And yes, I've been teaching. I've been doing a lot of this online stuff. I've been recording a bit. I've been creating other projects. It's not like I haven't been busy, but something was still missing. And then in the middle of August, we got confirmation that we are going to have our first gig. And I have to tell you, because we were listening to the news and people discussing whether or not there will be stricter measures on the pandemic stuff, and things got cancelled and booked for other people as well on numerous occasions. Until the day of the event, I was still skeptical whether or not we will be able to do it. And then the day came, and I was nervous. I did this show literally 100 times, maybe even more. It was a Siddhartha acoustic show. It was a show that I knew inside out. I've done it numerous times, and I was nervous. So about 2 days before the event, I went back to my console and studied all the moves and just replayed the entire show in my head and said, okay, I'm ready. And then the day of the gig came and we were loading the gear into our vans and I got to meet everybody. I haven't seen the crew or the band since that famous March 7th that I keep talking about so much. It was just a joyous experience. I got to meet my second family again. And all of those things that sort of, can bug you and can be irritating when you are touring and playing and staying with the same people day in, day out, they just evaporated. It was pure joy. It was pure friendship and love and great positive energy. And then we got to the gig. The minute we started setting up, I realized that the entire crew, not just me, was just like a half step slower. We haven't been doing this for a while, and the muscle memory was sort of lost. It was like every case that we took out of the van, it took us a second to realize, oh yeah, I remember this one. It goes over there. And even though they are marked and everything is ready, you have a certain way of moving around with people that you know well. It's sort of like a dance. You just know where everybody's going to be at a certain point in time, and you know how to avoid each other, and you learn how not to bump into one another. And that sort of went out the window the moment we started setting up. And we realized, oh yeah, this is going to take a bit longer than we expected. And then I got behind the console and, I recalled the show and everything was working great. We didn't have any technical issues, which was, a blessing on its own, because the gear was in storage for 6 months. And although we did sort of set it up and we booted all the consoles a couple of months before that just to make sure everything was working well, and we cleaned them up, it was still a question of, okay, this has not been in use for an extended period of time, so how will it stand the test of time? That was a question. And, it was great. Everything was working fine. And then the band came. And again, we haven't seen the guys for 6 months. It was a joyous experience. And they plugged in and they started playing. And I was doing monitors as I was doing monitors for this band in this particular show for months and years now, basically. And the first request for a minor change happened. And it took me a second. And I'm not used to that. I'm not used to taking a second before I reach out for the right switch and the right knob and the right fader. It doesn't matter how much preparation you do. And trust me, I've done a lot of preparation. I've been practicing what I preach. I've been, doing ear training exercises, and I've been doing console programming. And like I said, I actually went through the show on the console that I'm using. And yet it's still like the mental process of somebody asking, hey, can I have more guitar in my in-ear mix? Until that happened, it was just like another half a second, another second maybe. It was sort of strange and frustrating and irritating, and I might have expected it to happen, but I didn't realize it would be that obvious to me, and I'm pretty certain it wasn't obvious to anybody else. It was just the way that I remembered being fast on the console and making those changes, that it just wasn't there. Throughout the show, it came back. So it took me about an hour or so running into the show, running all the cues that I remembered. And still, like the first couple of cues, again, I was like a half a second late for everything. And then I got into the groove, and I remembered the songs, I remember the cues, and everything sort of fell into place. By the end of the gig, which lasted about 2 hours, I was back in the game. I was lucky because I was doing monitors and there's nobody around me in the monitor world, so it was an outdoor event. I could take off my mask and pretend like everything was normal. It was the same feeling. It was the same ecstatic energy. And at the end of the show, I felt really, really emotional. I might have cried a bit. I'm not really sure. But it was just the build-up of waiting and being ready for so long. And then it finally happened. As the show was closing and I knew, okay, we actually did an actual show. It's like I didn't believe we would go through it until it actually happened. So it was more emotional than I expected it to be. How was it different though? To be quite frank, I'm expecting this to be different from country to country, from region to region, because, there are no universal laws how to fight this pandemic in place. So there are different restrictions, especially surrounding live sound events or events of any kind. So this might not apply to you. But in Slovenia, all the concerts have to be with people sitting down. There's a social distancing sort of gap between the chairs. You don't have to wear masks if you're in the audience, if you're sitting down, but if you, let's say, stand up, go to the bathroom or go get a drink, then you have to put the mask on. We had to sign a lot of waiver forms, and they had to take our personal information in terms of who was present at the show. So in case of an outbreak, they would know how to trace everybody. So that was fine. We had to sign a lot of papers. But other than that, it felt like a real show. Not only that, but I had 2 more shows that same week. So it was amazing how we went from nothing to 3 gigs in a week, which is something that I would expect to be normal in the most normal of circumstances, which these definitely are not. There is hope. There is still this energy present when you get out there. I don't know if this has happened to you. Let me know in the comments below if you've had this experience. But I just want to let you know that once the gigs start, it's going to be probably, at least for the first couple of them, even better than before. It's going to be more emotional. My advice to you is to take a lot of time, because if you will go through at least some of the experiences that I went through, it will take you a few more minutes to realize, okay, how is this set up, and how have we done this for months on end before we actually went into this lockdown. So take your time, be prepared, run through the show. Even though I was a bit late and a bit slow, I still think that running a show on an empty console or whatever it is, or just going through it mentally in my head, really helped me. And I'm guessing it will help a lot of people once they start gigging again. I hope you are gigging. I hope you get to do what you love doing really soon. And if you are not, let me tell you, there is hope. There are gigs out there. There are people that you will get to meet again and see again and have fun with. Because this is a profession of passion. And that passion is still waiting for us just around the corner, I hope. Let me know in the comments below if you have had a similar experience, or if there was something that really surprised you once you started gigging again. This was it for this video. Thanks for watching. I will be back with more technical videos next week, but I just wanted to do this sharing experience with you guys. Until next time, take care, mix great shows if you can, and I'll see you. Bye.